the record, I'm Naomi Kowles. Dane County will have a new sheriff starting in May, replacing longtime Sheriff Dave Mahoney, who's resigning to take a job at American Family Insurance. Kalvin Barrett comes to the department from Madison College, where he teaches criminal justice. He joins us today for our first look at some of his top goals for leading the roughly 600-member force.
Good morning. Thanks so much for joining me. So welcome to the force. Let's talk about your top priority as you head into this role, stepping into these shoes left by Sheriff Dave Mahoney.
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity. I was hired by Sheriff Dave Mahoney back in 2009 to work for the Sheriff's Department. And I'm just excited for this opportunity to continue the vision and the mission that he has started. I'm excited to add my, my flavor in regards to my personal experiences, my professional experiences, and my educational experiences. My top three priorities when coming in to this position, number one, is to use innovative evidence-based methods for crime reduction and reducing recidivism. Next, I want to rebuild fractured relationships and establish or re-strengthen or continue to strengthen already established relationships. And then finally, I want to reduce and maintain a low jail population through diversionary programs by working with my other community partners. So those are the three top priorities I have moving into this new position.
What are your chief concerns? You mentioned fractured relationships. Could you expand a bit on that and what you think should take top priority when it comes to rebuilding fractured relationships? What are you talking about there?
Right. I'm just talking about just in general, the overall rebuilding the relationships between our communities of color and law enforcement. I think there's some things that have happened nationally in regards to law enforcement that have really put some barriers up to that. So I want to continue to reach out through community engagement and continue to rebuild those relationships so that there is trust and there is understanding moving forward throughout my time as the Dane County Sheriff.
You mentioned the jail. That's obviously one of the biggest things that is kind of a top concern for people in the community. Now, the sheriff has put some measures in place, things like releasing people with GPS tracking, other measures during the pandemic to keep that population low. Do you plan to continue and then add other ways to keep that population at a continuing low level?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the ultimate goal in coming in there. We want to make sure that our communities are safe, number one, but also we want to make sure that we're not incarcerating individuals for nonviolent crimes or that or that have committed crimes that can be, accountability can be held in other means outside of incarceration. So yes, the programs that Sheriff Mahoney has put in place are great, and that will continue to understand and assess those programs from an internal standpoint as we go through this transition period right now.
Specifically thinking about the new jail building, that's kind of been this ongoing giant multi-million-dollar project. How do you envision working with the county with continuing to bring that to fruition?
Absolutely. So, my understanding of it at this point is really from the outside. But during this transition period, I'm really starting to understand the internal workings of it. But I think first it starts with building and establishing relationships with community members, but also community leaders as well, to get a good understanding on exactly what the community is looking for with this new project and what possible ways we can make it, we can help reduce recidivism, but also treat, our neighbors who are incarcerated as humanely as possible.
Let's talk budget. As sheriff, you'll be responsible for managing an $85+ million budget in the county. What past experiences will you draw on to help kind of determine where that budget is going to go from here?
There's experiences that I have not only being a faculty director at Madison College, but also being a business owner myself. So understanding the budget is important. Also realizing in this transition period that there are some great individuals that are in the position right now that understand and know the budget and have been in that position for a long time. So working with them and really getting a better understanding on the best ways to go about handling that is one of my top priorities once I take over full-time as the Dane County Sheriff.
You mentioned being a business owner. Could you expand a little bit on that?
Yes, I am the owner of KDB Innovative Consulting, LLC, and it's a business here where I focus on working with community members in regards to training on workplace violence training, active threat response, but also diversity and inclusion.
And I want to give you the opportunity to talk a little bit about other past experiences. So you were for about, I believe, 2 years on the Dane County Sheriff's Office on that force. You've also served in Sun Prairie. Tell me a little bit about just some experiences on those different departments and how you feel they're going to correlate to being sheriff.
Absolutely. I think the overall experiences that I have is very unique and has led to, a lot of expertise in regards to understanding not only just being a leader of a law enforcement agency, but understanding it from a standpoint of being in the Dane County Jail and working in there, but also from the experiences of being actually out in the community as a Sun Prairie police officer and knowing the needs and the concerns of the community. Also, I have experience learning on the academic side of the criminal justice system and teaching at Madison College in our criminal justice studies program. Also, I have experience in the training side too. I'm a lead and master defense and arrest tactics instructor. So I think all of those experiences, including my personal experiences, will provide, will allow me to serve the people of Dane County to the fullest as the Dane County Sheriff.
Do you plan to run for election for a full term come next April?
Yeah, well, at this point, I really want to understand and get into the position and really evaluate where we're at as a department, but also as, in regards to campaign, but also, with family decisions as well. I mean, I think there will come a time where that decision will come out, and I will be sure you will be one of the first to know when that happens.
Up next after the break, Wisconsin's top health official joins us to talk about vaccinations heading into the second week of expanded eligibility to everyone 16 and up.